who are present here today. Today, we will discuss about one very important feature in our international innovation program. And every scholar and every researcher, every academician, whenever they start their research work, one thing is always in their mind is to how to propagate their idea, their research findings to across the globe to other scholars and how they can interact with each other and they can find a better way. This is actually the ethos and the crux of the publication. Now, in the modern context, yes, we have to draft it, our manuscript, in such a way. The art of interpretation is in such a level that it should go in excellent journals where the reviewers will always flabbergasted by the research findings. They will give you a positive review. And of course, the young researchers will take a leaf from your publication and they can also come up with their own idea in their own research gap that this can be also added. This is how the journey of the research will start one to another. We are holding hands with each other, collaborating with each other. And in this Eudoxia, we always want to make sure that we collaborate, we help each other for the publication prospect. Now, let's start step by step and one by one that how actually we should draft. I will also give you one example in terms of now everyone is talking about AI. So we will also take the help of ChatGPT and how the ChatGPT can actually also help us in terms of the finding the journals and how easy it is, how you can go for the prompts. It is very, very useful. First of all, let's start with the structure of the manuscript. In all our events, workshops, international conferences, we are focusing upon how you can write an excellent manuscript. And that is how the free publication domain we can explore more. Yes, nowadays open access publications are also available. Everyone can download it for free. It's actually propagating your research. Yes, but in certain developing countries, we want to make sure that our research work should always be published for free. And it is always very imperative that how and how what is the structure, what is the novelty, and how excellently the art of data interpretation you have done in your manuscript. Let's have a manuscript draft. For example, here I'm taking a kind of a quantitative research design approach where a manuscript starts with the title. Yes, you should have a title which is excellent and which should propagate your idea. Even from the title itself, one can imagine that, wow, this is going to be an exciting one. Let's start reading about this article and what are the innovations and research work the scholar has done. We can also get an inspiration and get the knowledge out of it. First of all, we will start with the abstract. This is, of course, in every scholar across the globe want to make sure that the abstract has certain parts. There are so many publication about how and so many books how you can actually write a title and how you can write an abstract. But my major concern in the abstract is that yes, it is always a kind of a trailer where you have to sum up and also give your findings in such a way that it should be excitable and it should be actually relatable in the context of your entire draft. For example, if we start with introduction, you should be very precise. Research gap should be highlighted. The material methods, you should be absolutely specific. I have seen many publications in our international innovation program. Whenever any scholar, when they are learning in our webinars, where they're learning in our events, workshops, they start writing and then the new horizons, new information will come. But one thing they are missing that every minute details you should give in your material methods. That means even if the instrument, for example, if you're from the quantitative background, you're using certain instruments, the sensitivity of the instrument, the manufacturer date, the manufacturer company, every single details. Because why? Because it also get and one very important factor, that is the reproducibility of your results. Every peer reviewers always make sure that what is actually the research design, can it be replicated with giving the results? And that is how you have to mention every details. Make sure that, and I will also talk about the drafting process in a Word file, which will make you easier to start writing. And I will always encourage first you prepare a rough draft where your ideas, you can just put your ideas down, and then later on you can make it in the form of a manuscript. Then comes the result and discussion. It is a very, very important aspect because the art of interpretation is actually lies in terms of the acceptance, review, major or minor, or rejection of your article. In terms of the results, you should be very precise. There are certain ways you can also enhance the art of interpretation. I will talk about that as well. Then discussion should be intensive. I have seen many publications and many manuscripts actually. In terms of the discussion, they have hardly 1 or 2 pages of discussions. They are just literally discussing the results they have got. This is not how you had design or you interpret your discussions in a manuscript. It should be detailed one and absolutely more focused. This is actually the bedrock. It is actually the spinal cord of your manuscript, the result as well as the discussion. Then comes the conclusion, very concise conclusions, acknowledgement. Of course, you have to acknowledge the funding agencies or your colleagues or your co-authors or the institute you are working in. And finally, with the references, you will always give the supplement information where you will give more tables and figures. So this is a kind of one structure that I will propose for a particular manuscript. Now, let's start with a very important aspect that first writing of a draft, and while you're writing the draft, you should always have 2 things in mind. One is the target of a good journal. Some scholars say that we should target a journal and then write it accordingly. Some says you prepare a draft, convert it into a manuscript, and then you should target a journal. Both approaches are actually in terms of the streamline towards going towards the success nature of the review article, that those who are going for the review process. But my personal point of view, that whenever I want to write a manuscript, I always have my journal in my mind. In terms of the novelty check, the research gap, excellent writing, scientific skills, art of interpretation, what are kind of softwares I'm using for my figures, what are the resolution of my figures, how many tables I have, if I'm using a primary, secondary, or tertiary data for the interpretation, how I'm utilizing my tables and figures in such a way that it will give a crisp picture, a complete picture of my result and discussions. Am I including unnecessary tables, which is a kind of a general phenomena, especially in the statistical analysis we have seen in many of the publications, if they are using SPSS or Minitab or Statistica or these kind of statistical software, even R, they're giving us a very generalized tables and figures. But this is have no use in terms of the main aspect of your results is always a primary to secondary to tertiary data. That means you have to filter out your data, which is absolutely important, and showing the main aspects of your research findings. This you can actually focus on your manuscript. Make sure that you always take the help of your peer reviewers, your colleagues. And in Edoxia, we always, in all our international experts, whenever we have any webinar in terms of manuscript drafting, Scopus fee publications, we always give live demonstrations. We always give the trends. We always give how you can actually initiate the process. So this is how you learn. You learn, you adapt, and you write, and you get success. Our main aim should be always, and I'm again reiterating this very important fact, our main aim should be always that my manuscript or my draft should always go for a peer review. It should not be outright rejected. And sometimes, if you get the rejection after the minor or major comments, even then you should be feeling happy, because then you should actually give a chance to work upon your own research findings, make it more better, make it more comprehensive, make it let's have the novelty factor as a highlight of your research work so that you can publish. And once it is published, you will celebrate, and we all will celebrate. Now let's start with the free publication process. I will go into a bit detail so that you can step by step, you can actually draft the process. Now let's say I have a Word file, I have my title, And with this title, actually, I have seen this particular title. I will go to, let's talk about the Scopus database. I will go to this Scopus database, Science Direct, and I will filter my topic. I will put my title in the Science Direct, and I will see what are the current trends. Is there any publications or research work in which group, in which country, in which university, in which institute is going on, which is actually in sync or streamlined with my work? And if I found something very interesting, I will immediately take that up as a model. Now, I will also focus on all of my data sets, how I am interpreting in terms of the data analysis. Am I interpreting in which statistical mode, or in which diagrams, or in which tables? How many tables I have to give in order to make sure that everything is very comprehensively visualized by the reviewer. Make sure you always check your abstract. If they are asking for a graphical abstract, if it is even optional, I always encourage our scholars, our IIPians, whenever we are going for a submission, I always encourage, prepare a graphical abstract. Use the infographics. Use certain tools like Canva, Adobe Illustrator. For the figures as well, use certain tools, softwares like Origin, Sigma Plot, so that your tables, figures, your graphical abstract should be a stunning one. And just by looking at the graphical abstract, the reader is actually impulsed to read your article. And all these software, I'll make one list also. But what I need a Sigma plot or an Origin for my diagrams, for my figures. I need EndNote for my, or Mendeley or Zotero for my references. For data analysis, I need SPSS, I need Minitab, I need Excel, I need Statistica or R, the tools that I need. What else I need? I need, for scientific drafting, I need WordTune, I need Grammarly, I need Coolboard for the paraphrasing. And if I have some mathematical expressions, I need a math type. If I'm a chemist, I need a ChemDraw. If I'm from the molecular biological background, I need a BioDraw. So all these softwares, what is the availability of these softwares? I will check, and then I will proceed further for drafting my manuscript in a very comprehensive way, step by step. Most of the scholars I have seen in the manuscript draft, they don't even mention their affiliations. They don't even mention the keywords. They don't even mention the acknowledgements. They don't even mention, they do not validate your references. Please always try to learn the reference softwares like Zotero, Mendeley. They are free. And all the live demonstrations are always done by Edoxia events. We always make sure that you will learn these softwares in order to make sure that you actually not have to worry about the references part. So after all these collective things, then I start writing and I target my journal. And then I will always make sure what my deadlines are. Can I write it, let's say, within 1 month? I need one revision as well for myself. And then after 1.5 months or 2 months of my hard work, then immediately I'll go for the submissions. Do not delay it, because it is always said in research that if you are lagging behind, if you are thinking only, not acting, someone else is actually acting in that particular area. And by the time, let's say if it is 5 months or 6 months is done, and you're still in the writing phase, then you will find that, in one Q1 journal, something similar has already published, which is, which is always very heartbreaking sometimes because you're working so hard. So make sure you have your deadlines targeted in such a way that your writing part, you should revise it, and then we will go for the Scopus submissions. Now, in terms of the drafting entire process, you can target Web of Science, Scopus, or other publication houses. But my concern is free publication. You should always make sure that your journal will give you either it's in a hybrid mode or it's in a subscription mode. If it is in a subscription mode, yes, you should always filter. I will show you with a chat GPT, with a live demo, that how in just matter of clicks, I can find my journal and I can filter my journal. Now, what about the filtration of Scopus journal? Yes, of course, depending upon my comprehensiveness, the novelty, the current trend, my research work, I will actually target Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and so forth. But in terms of the realistic approach, the quality, I always go for a Q1 and Q2. I'll be motivated in that particular aspect. And then I will select a journal, make sure I will absolutely follow the author's instruction very carefully. A single line, I will not miss a single line in it, because I've seen many a times scholars are missing what is there in the author's instruction, and immediately the editor will say that your publication is out of scope. You can select these paid journals, and thank you so much for submitting. So in order to have your own, you should be motivated enough to make sure that everything should fall in one place. You will read everything and try to execute that, so that you will get a peer review process as well for your manuscript. It's not only hard work you have done in your research, it is hard work you should do in while writing a publication as well. Now, let me start with one very important aspect. For example, I have selected one journal. Now, the Scopus filtration process, I will do three things I always keep in mind. One thing is, yes, it should be in a good quartile and it should remain in Scopus. That means it should be in continuum journal. Second part is the time of the review. What is the time period they are taking for the review? Mostly in the quantitative research, mostly, and it is actually a good sign, because most of the good journals, even in Web of Science or in Scopus, they always have a very limited time of review. So they are faster in their processes. They start with 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Sometimes in the qualitative research, yes, the time period is pretty more, but you have to filter that out. And the final part, which is also very, very important, that the current trends of that particular journal. For example, if I'm selected one XYZ journal from a Q1 in Scopus, and that is my targeted journal, I will visit that journal's homepage and I will put my keywords to see what are the current trends are coming up. What are the current publications? This is give me an idea about the editor, that yes, editor is actually accepting these kind of publications, and mine is the similar way, even more advanced, and I have full confidence in my research work that yes, I can publish in that domain. And that is how you will get the success part. Now let's start with a very important discussion here, and then I will move to Chat GPT, and I will show you one small demonstration, which is, I'm sure everyone can do it. It is for free, and you can also go for the prompts as well. And even if you don't know anything, I will also show you how you can actually go for a target of a particular journal as well. And especially in our international innovation program, we always want to make sure that the quality and the learning ability of a scholar is always enhanced. This is the main ethos of the International Research Executive Training Program that we have for 1 year. And that is how we support our scholars for ethical publication. Nowadays, you must have seen so many scammers that are coming in publication. Unfortunately, they are targeting our scholars. 2 days publication in Scopus, 10,000 INR, 20 USD, you will pay, and you will get the acceptance letter. Authors' positions are available second, third, and fourth. If you pay more, first author. So all these kind of ridiculous and unethical activities, we have to fight it out as a researcher. And that is how the main aim, the bedrock of International Innovation Program is to enable you to make sure that you can do it by yourself, each and every aspect. And now, finally, I will move towards one short demonstration, and I will show you how easily I can select my own journal and how easily I can go and download the author's instruction as well. So let me share my screen, and I will go for a Chat GPT. I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Now, this is my Chat GPT. Now, let's say in the prompt, and even if you don't know how to prompt, you can ask ChatGPT, give me some prompts. So this is how easier it is. Now, if I, in a ChatGPT, if I'll put, okay, can you enlist the Scopus journal in the field of, let's say, biochemistry with the application of biodegradation? You can also select in the field of education with the application of e-learning. Any subject, any domain, you just ask, please enlist certain Scopus journals. And if I hit the button, So in terms of the chat GPT, we have already get the certain journal selections. Now you can see that if the journals are selecting by themselves, you can see here that he is giving me certain options. Biochemical Engineering Journal, Journal of Hazardous Material, Environmental Science Pollution Journal, Applied Microbiology Biotechnology. All these Scopus Web of Science journals are coming up. Now, I don't even want to go to a Google and search their ISSN number. I'll just copy, let's say I will copy Applied Microbiology and Biotechnology. I will copy this and I will immediately say, give me a web link. Now, as soon as I put the web link, it will give me a web link, which automatically redirects me to the journal's homepage. In the matter of seconds, it is just only depending upon the prompt. The prompt you should be given is very, very important. And there are so many prompts that you can use. This is the beauty of use of AI tool. I'm not asking AI to write my publication. I'm not asking AI to help me in such a way that I'll get paralyzed. I'm using my own sense. I'm just taking the help as a tool. And now, of course, I can download the author's instruction viciously and I can follow the instruction. And once it is ready, once it is go for the review, once it has got accepted, and once I got an email from the editor that, yes, I'm pleased to inform you that your publication has been accepted, this is where I celebrate my joy. And the true happiness will come. And we have seen in our IIP program, the scholars who are doing Q1, Q2 publication, when it is done, they call me or they call our Honorable President, sir, or Vice President, ma'am, or our Director, sir. The tears of happiness, true happiness will come. So my humble request to each and every scholar, those who have joined here and across the globe, make sure that we should do the ethical work, make sure we follow, we learn every day. We learn every day because research is always in a dynamic state. We learn, we execute, and we always help each other in order to propagate the information in a right way. Thank you so much. I would like to thank our chief patron, Professor Dr. Rhituraj Sekia, sir, our patron, Professor Dr. Rajesh Kannur, sir, and all the organizing committee members for organizing this international conference in 2023. Now the Christmas is coming up, so it is actually a great time to write an article and submit your article during the Christmas time. And then maybe in the January after Sylvester, maybe in January, February, we'll get a good news and we'll celebrate even more. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and good luck to all the scholars for writing. And we are always ready to help. Just we are one click away now in terms of the IIP program. So do make sure you also contribute into the IIP, and let's make this revolution of renaissance of learning is an incredible one and help each other for the global cause. Thank you so much. Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from my side. Thank you, sir.